have Reverend Carol Willis. Reverend Carol has extensive background in spiritual counseling, metaphysics, prayer, and meditation practices and pastoral care. In addition to youth and family ministry, she's an accomplished spiritual teacher, public speaker, and event planner. She is passionate about her work all the time. She truly brings a compassionate and kind nature into everything she does. I give you Reverend Carol Willis.
Reverend Marie. I can honestly say that song is a sermon in itself. I don't know that I have anything left to say.
Play it again.
My topic today is a season for giving. In the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, we read that there's a season for all things under heaven. And one of the seasons is to sow and reap, which means to give the seed to the soil, and in time, we reap the harvest. In the activity of giving, there is always a reward for the giver. And there is always a reward for the one gifted. But sometimes I think the biggest reward is for the giver. At Christmas time, my sister always asks me why I send out so many Christmas cards, especially when I receive only a fraction of the responses in return. And she's asked me this for a long time. And I keep telling her, you're missing the point. It's not about how many cards I get back. It's about the feeling I have reaching out to others through a simple thing like a Christmas card. And I love to do it. Every Friday after Thanksgiving is my special day. I put on the coffee pot and I just start. And sometimes I get them all done in one day and sometimes I don't. But it's a tradition with me. And it gives me great joy to do that. I've also been asked why I do so much gift giving outside of my family. My family and I haven't exchanged gifts for some time, and they live out of town, and I don't ever really get to be with them on Christmas other than by phone. And for me, it's just something I have to do. So I have chosen others to share with, not always in a lavish way, but in some sort of way. And I'm always asked, why do you do that? Because it makes me happy. It makes me happy to give, and I love to give, and giving gives me great joy. I hope there's joy as far as the receiver is concerned, but it gives me great joy. More than 2,000 years ago, a child was taken to the local temple by her parents and was given into their custody. Her parents were older, and she was quite a handful, behavior-wise, to say the least. This is why they took her, because they couldn't get any control over her. The child was named Mary. Mary was trained and educated at the temple, especially in religion. Becoming a willing student, Mary learned about prayer, devotion, and love for God. Because she was so willing and devoted, she was chosen by God for a wonderful experience to birth the Christ child. As As she had given herself in daily devotion to God, her reward was to become the mother of Jesus and be revered as the Holy Mother for all time. Last Friday night here at Center of Enlightenment, Reverend Keith showed the movie classic, It's a Wonderful Life. And there were only 4 of us there. Lisa was there. I had not seen this movie in a long time. And you know, last night it played on TV. I hadn't seen it for a long time. And I had kind of forgotten some of the story. The main character, if you remember the movie, is George Bailey. He was always giving of himself to protect the town of Bedford Falls from the town's nemesis, Mr. Potter, who was very rich and wanted to own the town. And he was out to figure out a way to ruin the businesses, to buy them out, take control, and turn the town into Pottersville. George's building and loan bank that he managed came up short $8,000 because his uncle had lost a deposit while he was at the bank, which ended up in Mr. Potter's possession by mistake. And there was to be an investigation, and George was beside himself because it looked like there was misappropriation of funds. George thought the best thing was to jump off the bridge and be done with it all. He meets his guardian angel, Clarence, and Clarence tells him maybe it would have been better. And George tells Clarence that maybe it would have been better that if he had never been born. So Clarence takes George on a journey of seeing what life would have been like without him. George couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was just awful. Mr. Potter owned the town. The town's businesses were seedy at best. There was no more building and loan bank. Anyone George knew led very different lives. And once George witnessed all of this, he changed his mind and wanted to go back to his life. It wasn't so bad after all. And he would face whatever he needed to face. What George didn't know was that people were looking for him all over town. And when George got home, the townspeople showed up and brought the money to keep the building and loan secure from ruin. They were bringing it by coffee cans, by jars, by baskets. It was amazing. George got to witness just how much he had given to the town and its people. And they returned the gift of love and generosity to him by helping to save the building and loan. Even the guardian angel, Clarence, got his reward for the gift of his service. Clarence earned his wings. And that was his bargain with God. If he completed this task and was successful, he would earn his wings. When we give from the heart, we are never disappointed. The natural law of cause and effect always works for us when we cooperate with it. Christmas is always a wonderful season for giving. And I'm challenging everyone here and on Zoom to give at least one gift of service to someone or some cause. Giving in love and devotion is a powerful expression of spirituality and goodness. And it indicates that we are living from our divine self. Reverend Keith, who is a veteran, brought to the minister's attention last Tuesday a wonderful activity called Wreaths Across America. The Oak Lawn Cemetery in Royal Oak is placing wreaths on the graves of the 542 veterans that are buried there on December 18th, which I believe is a Saturday. You can volunteer to sponsor wreaths and or physically place the wreaths on the graves, and they're going to work until either they run out of wreaths or they get everything placed. And so if you want to Google wreaths across America, locally, this is going to be happening at Oak Lawn Cemetery in Royal Oak. There are many, many other projects to participate in, many avenues to give to the community at large with love and joy. The feeling behind the action is the best feeling ever. The best gift this season is the gift of selfless giving and unconditional love. Whether you give canned goods to a food bank, or you donate blankets for the homeless, or whatever you choose to do something that's meaningful and do it from your heart. With every giving from the level of your divinity, you birth the Christ child or the Christ consciousness into the world. It is the greatest gift of all. And you can only imagine the good feeling that you're going to experience by participating in that activity. Abundance is about circulation. So just like Karen Drucker says, if you want more, give more. If you want more love, be more loving. If you want to see change, be the change. It all starts with us putting something in motion out here. So it starts from within, we put it out here, and it makes the circle, comes back to us as a tremendous blessing. And if you're like me, once you start giving and you enjoy it, you'll just give more and more. And so my wish for all of you is to have a wonderful season of giving and receiving. God bless all of you, and thank you for listening this morning.